You're in my world now.
We battle with the gods under a million stars. We battle with the gods under a million stars. We battle with the gods under a million stars. There's lion blood in my chalice, a goat heart in the balance. I speak in italics, discussing these chances. In the Eiffel Tower of Paris, my chariot, the color is metallic. A wonderland to Alice, it's all blunder and malice. Best talent that's combined with magic. Behind the static, there's voices in the shadow. The only choice is battle. Hop into Hellcat and skedaddle. They're watching King Kong climb the Tower of Babel. Ignore every Eve trying to give me an apple. The little rascal that can't be canceled. In the courtyard of my castle, these hens doing nothing but cackle. Now they walking in my chapel with candles that's lit. Definitely with the shits, cause we handle it. Met with the building that is brick by brick. Old Mac, big head, can't tell me shit. Capoeira with the spiral kick, spit hieroglyphs when the tyrants sit at the Coliseum. Whether spies or allies, I know them when I see them. Greet them with an olive branch, that's for the treason. Watch Pocahontas rain dance for the season. Is he still breathing? After the execution, they blame spirits and start the accusing. And then survive every disaster and delusion. Supreme mathematics, the author of confusion. Niggas be cheating and they still losing. Bones in my blank keep me tuned and influenced by the moon sin. A lunatic in the truant skin. A boogeyman with a heart like a ruby gem. A whirlwind, I twirl in the middle of tornadoes. Between riddles and fables, keep my Glock on the table. Shot of scotch keeps me stable. Watching divas belly dance with diamonds in their navel. We rode on sound waves that was way before a label. And while you getting hung by the TV cable, I was ready and able. The black amour that raised you from the grave to the cradle. We battle with the gods under a million stars. We battle with the gods under a million stars. We battle with the gods under a million stars.
Yo, yeah, we might as well just get to it. I was gonna play another track, but it's something special today, so we gonna do it like this. Yeah. So I do have a friend of mine here, y'all. Everybody, welcome to the Money Religion. The guys 720 back in the house. We have a special show today, this Sunday. There's a lot of melee. There's a lot of confusion going on with this whole situation with the government. And what's going on with these drones, what's going on with these light orbs. And it's very important for us to listen to somebody who's reputable in that area to give us a forewarning or to give us what their conclusions are from seeing the data that has been released to the public pertaining to the videos that are obviously given to us by the residents of America recording with their cell phones. We haven't gotten any direct photos from the government, supposedly, anything that I have seen. But, you know, things are being updated by the second, by the minute. So I thought it was very important for us to go ahead and listen to somebody who has had experience in military drones and things of that nature. Of course, I got to keep my friend here anonymous, and he's well educated and experienced in these drones. Don't forget, we still have the Kicked Out of Heaven Volume 1, 2, and 3, the Black Man's Bible, and the Ethereal Law going for $100 right now. You get the Encyclopedia on the Alchemy of Women, Volume 1 and 2, and the Real Nigga Etiquette in ebook format sent directly to your email. But let's go ahead. I don't want to keep anybody waiting. Let's go ahead and get into it. I'm going to bring my friend to the stage here. He's going to remain anonymous, of course, but he will speak on his accolades, and then we'll go from there. I do have some videos prepared that will show on what these drones look like, or what's going on. They've been witnessed from East Coast to West Coast. So here he is. Let me go ahead and bring him in.
Hey, thanks for having me, brother. How you doing?
Yeah, okay. I'm doing fine. Let me see here. Can you hear me clearly?
I can hear you loud and clear.
Okay. Let me see here. Can I? No, I guess I'm gonna have to leave you there. I don't know if anybody in the audience. Go ahead and state you can hear the brother. This is the first time I've done an interview with only audio. I'm trying to bring you up to the stage here. Let me see here. Yeah, I don't know if it's gonna allow me to bring you up to the stage. It's only audio.
It's all right.
Right. Well, I guess there it is. So, yeah. Mama E, can you hear the brother? Okay, you can hear. You can hear my compadre here, Mr. Gray is what we'll call him. So, Mr. Gray, go ahead and let the people know some of your accolades and some of the and then we'll go from there.
Thanks. My accolades. I did a one enlistment with the United States Air Force. I was stationed out here in Nevada, up at a Creech Air Force Base, which is approximately 50 miles away from Nellis Air Force Base. Um, the capacity I worked up there, I was cyber transport systems journeyman, a 3 Delta. Listed in 2006. Made my way out to Nellis Air Force Base in 2007. Started my additional training to get onto my 3 and 5 level, and later I was stationed at Creech Air Force Base. And I worked with the UAS program, or the RPA program, which is a remotely piloted aircraft or unmanned aerial systems. I primarily work with the MQ-1 Reaper. I'm sorry, the MQ-1 Predator and the MQ-9 Reaper up there. So if you have any questions, I was just an average airman up there, but I have seen some things, at least in terms of how what we call now our drone program is used, and how we conduct operations with it. I mean, it's all out there on the internet, but it's not as spooky as people think in comparison to what we're seeing now in New Jersey and across the nation.
Okay. Okay. So let me see here. So let me bring in this picture here of what you mentioned, the MQ-9, so people can see this, what it looks like here. Okay, so that is the MQ-9, the Reaper, as you were mentioning. Um, so you've seen a lot of these videos, right? Of what's going on with this whole thing with the drones in New Jersey and New York. They've been seen in California, and now there's supposedly videos coming from other areas of the globe, China, Brazil, so on and so forth, Argentina. So let's clear that space first. Unfortunately, we're in a position where in America we have a lot of goofballs and we have a lot of clowns and a lot of people who want to make money off of videos and getting views and things of that nature, and they will put up fake information. AI is definitely advanced to play tricks on you. Obviously, we may need alien intervention because humans have used the internet as a space to lie. They haven't really used it in any format to be, assisting with their lifestyle, where it's going to, help the mass amount of people in America. Extremely a selfish space, and people are putting up fake videos. So we have to deter from that and get down to the reality. So tell me, from everything that you've witnessed with these TikTok videos, or I mean, just videos online, and what's going on with the press conferences, what do you think? Well, first, let's talk about the way these drones are moving. What what do you think about that? By the way they're moving, is this, are these American drones? Are this a current status of human technology? Let the people know.
Well, like we spoke about earlier, when it comes down to the aircraft that we see that have, they have the FAA, I guess you call it navigational lights or strobe lights on them, the green lights and the red light on the, left and right. The way I see it is, I don't think they're aliens, right? In terms of drone technology, even when I was in the military, we had things that were years and years and years and years ahead of what the public um, would, I would say, it's kind of hard to speak about this. 'Cause I don't really know what to say. Sorry about that. I'm not a good interviewer, brother. Sorry about that. But look, this is what I think. I think a lot of the drones that we see flying in the sky, they are commercially, they're just commercial aircraft, right? If you're on the ground, it's really hard to tell how far something gets away in the night sky. Lights do a lot of tricks on the eye, right? So I wouldn't say they're aliens, but I do think that they are, some type of standard aircrafts, something that we're used to seeing. Now, when you get to those orbs, that's what kind of freaks me out a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
I don't
So
know what they are.
you don't know what they are. So why wouldn't you? Because of the way they're moving, left, right, up and down, circular, in formation, supposedly coming out from the water or going into the water. They've stated that we don't know where they're landing or where they're coming from, is what the government has stated. You and I both know that there's a possibility of private companies that are developing. We don't know what level of technology they're at. There's a system called black budgeting, where the government is financing private companies, or financing, the DoD and the DARPA, or and indirectly financing companies like Boston Dynamics, so on and so forth, for the development of a technology that's not exposed to the populace. Um, do you think that these drones are in that space of, a higher technology that we're financing?
I mean, I wouldn't even say a higher technology. I think it could just be current and existing technology. We really don't know the origin of these drones, where they come from. We haven't had many clear pictures of the drones themselves to really say, hey, this looks like something that could be military. This could be something that's just like a DJI or something a little bit bigger. It's really hard to tell from the TikTok videos that we see. And like I said before, a lot of this could be conjecture in terms of like, someone may see an airplane. Someone may see a drone. Drones are readily available. We go to a lot of stores, order them off Amazon, and do a lot of things with them, right? So when you see a drone flying around at the normal speeds that we used to seeing them, that's one thing. But when you're seeing these orbs that are moving across the night sky, it looks like it's moving thousands of miles per hour. That's a little compelling. I don't know what that is. I haven't seen anything like that in my career or after. Looks like we may have lost the feed.
Nobody on the internet. Sorry about that. But yeah, so um the way there's so is it are we at this hovering, are these drones only propel.
All right, same thing. You broke up quite a bit, brother. I didn't catch what you said.
Oh, you hear me?
I can hear you now. Yes,
Can you hear me?
it's a little choppy.
Yo,
Yeah, can you hear me?
yeah, I can hear you now. Can you hear me?
Yeah, it's extremely choppy
Can you
though.
hear me? Okay,
Yeah,
it's
there's actually a
choppy.
delay. I
Okay,
just heard it.
the
Yeah, it's a delay.
the question was is can you you can hear me now? Yeah, what is going on?
Yo, yo, can you hear me now?
Yo, can you hear me now?
I can hear you.
You can hear me now.
Hello, can you hear
Can
me?
you hear? Okay, yeah, I can hear you now. Are we at a status of hovering technology?
Oh yes, yes. I mean, we see that with the commercially available drones that we have now. So hovering is not something out of the realm of reality for for these drones. No.
Okay, so you say hovering is something that we are at the capacity to do right now.
Yes, yes. Now, I mean, flying around
Okay,
with what seems like a couple of thousands of miles per hour, and gaining altitude as fast as some of the videos that we've seen together, right? I have no clue what that is, and I would like to find out myself.
so there is a certain percentage of your judgment that states these may not be human created.
I wouldn't say not human created, but they're definitely not anything that I've seen before. Um, at least in my career. And the government has also come out and said that they do not know what it is. I mean, you can take that with a grain of salt, of course, right? But um, some of the videos I do think are AI generated or manipulated. But there are quite a few where you have multiple people looking up in the
Right.
sky at the same thing. Which could be fabricated also, right? But when you're having so many of them from so many different sources, you know, if there's smoke, there's fire.
Right. Where there's smoke, there's fire. I like the way you put that. So, let's go in on what the government is telling us, and the government clearly states they don't know what they are, but they aren't a threat. I that statement conflicts with itself. You would have to know what it is in order to know that it doesn't pose a threat. Am I right?
100% correct.
Right. So what do you feel about this basically blatant secrecy? Well, let's go in on it. Basically, from what you worked on, which is the MQ9 here, the Reaper. The Reaper can take pictures, correct?
Yes, it could take all types of
Okay.
video surveillance, electro-optical, um, forward-looking infrared. Um, you know, it could see a lot. It can see a lot. It's a very, very sophisticated camera system or optic system that
Right. And that's from what height?
Uh, I couldn't really say from what height, but I would say I couldn't say exactly. But I would say, you're looking at above 30,000 feet, 25, 30,000 feet. That's pretty much pretty much standard. These things can fly pretty much where normal jetliners fly. The average airplanes we see out in the civilian world, up to quite a bit higher. The exact numbers, I couldn't really say.
Right, but the height that the drones that you experienced, which was what 15 years ago, could go to a height where we could have, and they have a camera system, as you stated, where we should be able to attain clear pictures of whatever these drones are.
Right, but but that's if something like a Predator or Reaper or any of the other platforms were deployed in that area to do reconnaissance or gain some intelligence of what's going on, right? And for all we know, the government could be watching that area or these areas. They do not have to tell us what they're doing. And I think that's the most frustrated part with the official statement that we talked about, where the government says, um, we do not know what these things are, but they do not pose a threat. I mean, just in my mind's eye, I see that as kind of like a double speak, a true lie. And that's something that we're used used to getting from our government. So
Right. So basically, it sounds like somebody's full of shit because you have drones that can fly at the altitude of our commercial planes, and they're also equipped to take video and photo. And these drones that we're witnessing are flying at a lower altitude, so there should be able to attain some type of pictures of them, and we don't have them, and they haven't been released to the public. So it brings up the question of you know other type of drones, and because I've seen some drones where that can release fluid. They have in the agricultural department, they have drones that can pollinate trees at a very high level. It can also pollinate plants when we go into the farming industry. They have drones that can do this. And for I've seen a couple of drones that are releasing fluids over the populace, and we don't know what that is, and that could also be considered a threat. So with the space of a threat, and then I've also ran into information about drones that can survey an area and see if there's any type of gas leaks. And I guess that's done by infrared vision or heat vision, or I don't know what type of vision that's being utilized. Do you know anything about that?
uh, in terms of that specifically, no. But I do know that in terms of what our military have, they have sensor packages that could detect a multiple, or I'm sorry, a multitude of things that come through in a light spectrum. Like I said, we have infrared or FLIR. You could have, a lot of different things. So yes, they should be able to see it. I don't think the issue right now is that the government can't see the drones, or the government doesn't have the capability of seeing the drones or taking them out. I just think that if they did see something, or if they do know something, they won't be at liberty to let us know. And you got to look at it like this, right? If there was a murder investigation going on and detectives are investigating that, they're not going to be letting out everything that they know. And I think that's kind of what we're
Right.
seeing here. Yeah. They'll let us know that, we're investigating it, we're looking into it. And then, like there's a lot of red tape that, the local government has to go through to even get the resources to have their own stuff to kind of check this out, right? Because I did see in New Jersey, I believe it was the governor of New Jersey was asking the government for additional funds so they could pretty much upgrade their drone fleet. So this is just kind of a weird time right now where the government seems like they're blatantly lying to us in our face, and we're not getting any answers, right? So, you know,
Right. And from your experience with drones, there should be an answer.
I mean, the answer wouldn't even come from other drones. I mean, we have a lot of other intelligence gathering, processes that's out there, from local law enforcement all the way up to the federal, well, up to the Pentagon, right? So it doesn't even have to be another drone scoping out these drones. I did hear, I'm not sure if this is real or not. It was on TikTok. Someone mentioned that a couple of our fighter jets tried to approach these drones and they went dark, or we couldn't see them on radar. And then, they turned off their lights and flew away. We couldn't track them, so I'm not even sure if the government will ever let us know what these things are. I'm sure they know. But honestly, look, in New Jersey, a lot of people have drones, and I think we're also seeing like a lot of copycat stuff, right? So we see these crazy drones that are flying around, zipping across the sky, but I do think a lot of people are just buying drones and just flying them up in the air, trying to mess with people. I really think it's a mixture of everything. It's almost like a social experiment.
A social experiment, and that a social experiment may not fare out too well, messing around with people's minds in this capacity where we don't know what is going on. As they stated, they don't know what they are, but supposedly they don't pose a threat, which is automatically incorrect, because if there was some form of loss of the energy of their batteries or anything of that nature, they could nosedive right into an airport or even a highway and cause a 20 car pile up. You see what I'm saying? So it is a threat automatically because it is in our airspace and it is from coast to coast. And there's rules and regulation. There's laws. You have to have licensing with the FAA in order to fly. These things have been witnessed to be above nuclear power plants, to be over also a nuclear storing house that we have in England, in the UK. It's been noticed to be around weapons development, military facilities, naval bases, Air Force bases, and even the airport in New York was shut down for about a couple of hours due to these drones. So they're interfering with not only our atmosphere, but they're also interfering with our money when you start having to shut down airports and things of that nature. And it's very, uh, and for all of that to be occurring, the government definitely knows what is going on, but they're treating us like fools and not telling us what's going on, which is definitely damaging the relationship between the American people and our government, and that wouldn't be a wise thing to do. I've also heard that this could be the operations of the Space Force, which was put into place by Trump when he was president last. So I've also heard that there's these drones, there's drones that can check for, like I stated earlier, that can check for gas leaks and things of that nature in the city, and there's a
Right.
possibility that there's some form of nuclear reactor or nuclear weapon that is supposedly lost inside of, that came off of a port um in New Jersey and is lost within the city of New Jersey, and that is supposedly what the drones are looking for. What do you think about that?
Um, I think that's very plausible. Um, I'm not sure of the capabilities of drones in terms of going out and sniffing out nuclear material, but I do think it's very possible. It's very plausible. It is within the realm of the technology that we currently have, right? So if that was the case, the response from our government would make sense, right? Because the last thing the government would want is another, a nationwide panic or something like that going on right now. We're at a very volatile point politically in our country, and these things happening right now could actually mean something. And I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but things like this don't happen for a reason, and things like this are not allowed for long for a reason. If you remember, just I think it was last year, there was a Chinese weather balloon flying around, like the heart of the country. And if you remember the response we had to that, it was actually shot down. Um, in terms of these drones
Right,
in New
that was
Jersey,
shot down immediately. Right. So go ahead.
yeah,
I'm glad you
I
mentioned
mean,
that.
it did take some time, but I guess the government and the military figured that taking it down would not put any citizens or any civilian infrastructure in harm, right? So I guess that's one thing. But in New York and in New Jersey, where we're seeing these drones, I mean, these things have lithium. Well, at least as far as we know, most drones use lithium batteries, right? Lithium polymer batteries, which are highly volatile. highly flammable. You could probably compare that to something like a Tesla. I'm not sure if you heard about Teslas catching on fire and things like that.
Yeah, right. The
Right,
Tesla's blowing up. Yeah, I'm with you. I'm sure my
right,
audience is with you. Keep going.
right. So I mean, even within the capabilities that the government may or may not have that I know about, we do have weapons that are created specifically to defeat unmanned aerial systems, right? Different types of drones and stuff like that. So if one of those armaments missed, you could have a missile landing into somebody's living room, right? If you take a drone out, that drone could still, I mean, depending on how high it is, it could fall at an angle and land in a neighborhood, or land in a park, or land on a hospital, or land in the middle of the highway. So the government's actions right now, I think, is good in a way because they're not acting hastily and taking action that could put American lives in danger, right, or infrastructure in danger. But the transparency, I think, could be a little bit better, right? Because we don't know what it is, but it can't hurt you. It just doesn't sit right.
Right. And there's a large possibility that they're treating us in the space of you're a dumbass and we're the government and we could treat you however the fuck we want to, basically. And that's very disheartening that they have that attitude, but that's definitely the way we feel at this moment. As I've stated, supposedly these things have been witnessed all across the globe, and the logical conclusion that I've drawn from this is that we're looking at a possibility of, they're looking for nuclear. They're looking for some type of nuclear reactor or something of that nature. And as you stated earlier when we were having our conversation, we don't know specifically what these drones would have to do or how they would have to move or what type of formation they would have to be in order to inspect the area to see if there's a some type of nuclear weaponry available. Okay,
Right, right,
so that is important, but that's the only logical conclusion I could come to. Otherwise, this is extremely out of the space of how the military responds to things, especially if we're dealing with things that's dealing with bases directly, either hovering over a base or trying to break into a base. Um,
So I would say this about that, right? And
mhm.
and this is just my 2 cents, brother. Most military bases, if not all, they have ways of blocking. And actually, it's not just that. I mean, it's stuff that the FAA actually have, and a lot of law enforcement uh, agencies across the country may have this also, or they do, right? Where if you have drones that are flying in a certain airspace, they do have something that could pretty much jam the communications of that drone to the operator, right? Which will
Right,
essentially make that thing, fall out the sky. So, in
right.
terms of in terms of having any type of unmanned or unauthorized unmanned aerial system flying over a military base, um,
It doesn't make sense.
it doesn't make sense. I mean, that could be an operation that's being conducted by that base. I mean, even for me, when I was up at Creech Air Force Base, I mean, the same thing. We ran a lot of sorties at night. We did a lot of testing at night. We did a lot of flying at night, right? It's a 24-hour operation. So just because we see these things at night, uh, over bases, that doesn't mean anything, right? I'm not really worried about what's going on over military bases. But in terms of over civilian population, like we've seen here, that's really, that's concerning.
Right. And like you said, there's a technology where we can shut these things down without using, bullets or firearm or anything like that. We can shut it
Mhm.
down through frequency and things of that nature, correct?
Yes, yes.
Can you elaborate on that a little bit?
I mean, most drones will work on specific radio frequencies, right? Especially in a civilian or commercial line of drones. So what from what I've seen is that law enforcement they have, well, not law enforcement, but our government. Let's just say that our government. There are agencies out there that have the capacity to take these things down using that technology, right? But one thing that I've heard, which I said maybe conjecture too, is that this have been tried on the drones in New Jersey and it did not work. Or when they tried to track them, they flew away faster than um, what they could track. So yeah, I don't know, man. I'm kind of in the dark just like you. It is fun to think that it's aliens, but I think the more serious threat right now is that, is this a possible terrorist attack? And I hate using words like this, man, but you know, in the next 5 to 10 years, this could become something that's very dangerous for like all of us are, for all of us.
No, let's
Yeah.
let's go that. Let's go down that route of the whole terrorist attack thing. What do you think in that space? What are the capabilities of other countries and their technology status? What can they do? Is anybody? Do you personally think anybody is equipped or at that advanced space to attack in this format by having thousands of drones across the country? Supposedly, it's been 3,000 reported across the country so far.
I mean, definitely. If you look at the conflict that's going on in Ukraine right now, and the use of drones, I mean, you can see how devastating those could be. And a lot of these things are very simple. It's just an average commercially available drone that you could get from Walmart or Radio Shack or Target or whatever it is, and you know, with very simple tools. I mean, you could create something that could drop explosives or even just fly into people. I mean, there's a lot of things that you could do. But since these things are so easily available to anybody that wants to act as a bad actor, that's kind of what I worry about. Remember how mass shooting started years ago? It was just one here, one there, and then people caught on and said, "Hey, this is a way that I could express my anger and cause destruction." And we see that very commonly now.
Right. I'm showing on the
Right.
screen right now. I don't know if you can see.
Oh yeah.
Um, oh, you can
So
see everything I'm putting up here.
yeah, I can see it. And in terms of your other question, right? Yes. Drone technology is something that uh, most countries can make, most nations can make. I mean, there's guys making all types of drones with 3D printers, right? So it's all about how much funding you have, and how cynical you really want to be. Now, I mean, in terms of flying these things from other countries over here, I mean, that's a whole nother thing, right? But I'm just speaking
Right.
of here in America, right? If you get a bunch of guys that want to, start a drone group and fly drones around New Jersey to kind of, troll people or just cause a ruckus, that could lead to a whole lot of other things.
Right. And back to what you were stating about, being able to control drones from their location is really one of the important measures to give us a validity on, if this stuff is real or not. And then not, I mean, if it's human made or if it's, one of our adversaries. And then also it boils down into, like you mentioned earlier, about the battery life. We haven't developed any batteries to our knowledge, or our technology hasn't developed batteries which can allow these drones to make the moves that they're moving and for the extent of time that they're in the air. Is that correct?
I mean, yes, I mean, if they're using batteries, it's kind of hard to tell without getting a clear image of one of these drones to kind of gauge um, how large their power plant could be, right? But what I would say is, like the drones you have here, on the screen, these drones aren't ran off of battery.
What are they ran off of?
Jet fuel, JP8, or
Right, and that's gonna run out. Right.
yeah, and that can run out. I mean, but also also be aware that military grade drones are used for hours at a time. I mean, upwards of 8, 12 hours, or like even more. These things can loiter in place and gather reconnaissance and gather intelligence for a very, 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 very long time. That's what they're designed for. So if these things are engineered smaller and they have power plants that are more efficient, I mean, we really don't know how long they could actually last, right?
Right. We don't know.
We
And
don't know.
yeah, that's the space we're in, is not knowing, and it's very difficult. But as I was showing earlier here, right here, on the amount of drones that China has been able to not only develop but control during the course of a show. So these pictures right here that we see on the screen, these are all drones, okay, making these images in the sky at one time, and they obviously either have to be controlled in a live status during the course of it happening, or most likely it's a program that is operating them in order to make these designs in the sky. Am I correct on that? See, look at this: 3,281 drones made this
That is
one
correct.
sign right here. Okay, for Genesis. Okay, and yeah. So, what do you think about that?
I mean, look, man, technology technology advances a lot faster these days, right? When I was coming up, it was Moore's law. The speed of a microcompressor would, double every 18 months. That's what it was back in the day. Back in my day. Now today, I mean, processors are getting faster every day. The advent of AI and things like that, and machine learning, these technologies kind of push technology way faster than most of us would be able to conceive. So even simple things like this, these are just drones with lights on them that flies in specific patterns, pre-programmed patterns at that.
Right.
This isn't space age technology. This is something that's readily available to us all if we have the coin to buy 3,000 drones to fly and make a nice light show with 300 drones or whatever it is. But in terms of what we're seeing with these drones, just zipping across the sky, looking like it's going faster than the speed of sound, at least, Mach 1, Mach 2. That's what it looks like, at least from the videos. Yeah, man, that's
Right, and then it's also mentioned that some of these drones can go 100 miles per hour in the water, supposedly. Um,
now one thing I would say though, man. Look, if you look up in the sky and you see an aircraft that's at 26,000 feet or 30,000 feet or wherever they operate, um, it's going to be really difficult to tell how fast that thing is going, right?
right,
And those planes are operating, 4, 5, 600 miles per hour, even more. And we see them all the time. It looks like they're moving super slow in the sky. Uh, so yeah, I don't know, man. I'm actually excited to hear what these things are in the next couple of weeks, or just something to happen. Something. We need some
right. But
answers.
in the extent of time for us to have the same repetitive drones of being flown over the same locations, it's interrupting commercial flights. It's bringing the people to anger, and it's bringing the people to panic. Do Are we going to get an answer is the question, or are they trying to, back to what you stated earlier about a social experiment, trying to get us adapted to different shapes of machinery, or different shapes of drones flying above our head consistently, and this is the new world that we're going to be operating in, and that could be a stagnation on why they're not giving us a direct answer to whatever the hell is going on here.
Yeah, man. One of the most frustrating things with the government right now is, for me, is when it comes to national security. Um, there's a lot that they will not tell us for national security, for example, right? So even if they did see these drones, well, we all see them, but even if the government can track these drones, and they are doing things to mitigate that, they won't let that be known, because they don't want our adversaries to know what our processes are for tracking or taking out these drones, right? So this information won't come out to us until the government is good and ready. You know, um, I believe they know exactly what's going on. you know, um,
Right.
yeah, they know exactly what's going on, and it could be in the interest of national security for us not to know. Um, but also it could be that they just don't know, man. Um, these could just be some kids, or some really rich people out of New Jersey that could afford to buy
Well, I mean, they're being seen all over the country, so we
Yeah,
just
all over
can't
the country.
confine
Yeah,
it to just Jersey or Brooklyn or, Manhattan, Massachusetts, and Philly, where there has been sightings mentioned. It's also in California. It's in the state of Washington. There's been sightings in Texas. Supposedly, there's been sightings right here in Vegas. I haven't seen any. There's been sightings in Miami. There's been sightings in Argentina, the United Kingdom, of the same type of drone, and with similar flight patterns. So
right.
we definitely, I definitely know that it's not some kids and some anonymous group working from the dark web. That's not it at all. Because there would have to be an intent, and regardless, if we don't know what the intent is, relative to any form of war or attack, by default, we can automatically say that it's observation and spying. And especially with them knowing the locations of military bases and other military related facilities and hovering over those locations. So, it's really, it's weird. But from your experience with drones, it's clear that we should already have an answer. So the government does know what these things are. The whole thing is that the populace doesn't know, and we also don't know why our government isn't telling us. Maybe to avoid panic, but then again, we don't know what the result is what the action of panic is. A lot of people are going to sit back, scratch their head, and hunch their shoulders in the space of what can I do? Because the majority of the American population can do nothing. You know what what could we do? Fill garbage cans up with gasoline and catapult them at these things. Obviously they'll move. They move too quick. So we don't know what we're looking at. If it is alien intervention, I guess we won't have to pay bills for a minute. I guess I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think this, these particular drones that we're seeing, I keep saying that with the lights because we've seen some other things that look pretty compelling, right? The orbs, the triangle shaped things. I mean, you sent me one earlier today that looked like the bat wing flying, right? Remember that one? It looked like it was
Right,
some
right.
bird
There
of
was
prey
right,
construction.
right. I've seen some modeled after what looks like some Star Wars type vehicles. I've
Yeah,
seen I saw one video where it looks like we got some motherships in some locations across the planet that are just hovering in space, and they're humongous. Out there in the mountains of Brazil and Colombia, I've seen some videos of them showing. And I think I also saw one that was in China and another one in like Ukraine area or something like that. And they were humongous and they were just floating in the air in one location. So,
hmm,
and then that also brings up the possibility that it could be multiple different groups of quote unquote extraterrestrials that are controlling these things or are in agreement of whatever they need to do when it comes to the human population and when it comes to, the intergalactical federation and what their decisions are pertaining to us and our activity.
I mean, it could. I don't know, man. Like I said earlier, I don't think aliens will travel the vastness of the universe, and enter our atmosphere, and then decide that they need to manufacture and produce fixed wing aircraft with FAA compliant strobe lighting. Um, that's just a little hard for me to believe. But hey, I don't know, right? But
Right. Right.
um, if this is something from a foreign actor or from a foreign country, and I think I heard something about Iran may have a mothership off somewhere off the somewhere off of the Atlantic.
Right. I don't believe that because just like aerospace, we have water space, and as soon as they come in past a certain zone, we're not going to let an Iranian unknown ship just dock at our port. Like, what are we talking about here? There's a whole
I mean, I,
process. There's paperwork with that, and go ahead.
I mean, no, it wouldn't be docked, but I mean, it could be off the coast. I mean, remember, stealth technology, is not something that's exclusive to the United States, and her allies, right? You have Russia, you have China, that actually have their own stealth capability, right? And just like our government, we don't know what we have, and we have a huge defense budget. Some of these other countries, they don't have welfare. You know what I'm saying? Like they don't give out um, you know, what was the checks we got from COVID? What was that called? Stimulus checks and things like that, right? They're different types of societies, so they could dump a lot more money into their military machine, and develop something like this. Drones are not as expensive as F-22, right?
Right.
You're not, these drones aren't worth, $3 and $4 or $5 billion or more. These things can be made for, tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands or millions, which is, in the grand scheme of things, that's little money. So if a country like Iran or China or any of our adversaries wanted to put some money into something like this, I mean, it's very possible, right? Drones are very small. They have a really, really, really small radar cross section. So depending on how they fly and where they are, they can defeat some radar. They could kind of slip under the mat and nobody would see them until it's too late. But
Hmm.
there's so many scenarios. But
Right.
and just to let
I,
you know, the drones that you have up right here, these aren't necessarily the drones that we're seeing in the sky, right? These things are huge. Like the MQ-9 is, it's comparable to the size of maybe like an A-10 or F-16, especially in terms of like wingspan, right? So some of these drones are huge, and when we see these
Right,
drones up
right.
close to us,
One thing about these drones and why I'm showing the multitude of pictures that I am is so the people can know that this is the
mhm,
level of technology and the shit that's going on.
this is old
Majority of
too.
people don't even know that they're flipping through Facebook reels and Instagram reels and trying to get BBLs and shit out here. They don't
Hmm.
understand that this is the level of technology of where we're at and what our government is capable of doing and what other governments across the planet are capable of doing, especially when it comes to war and how war may be perceived and if we're going to break humanitarian laws. So that is definitely why I'm putting these pictures up here so people can witness what's really going on while we're sitting over here bullshitting. Because as American citizens, we're bullshitting. We're too goofy. We clown too much. We're dancing on a fucking TikTok. We're doing a lot of bullshit that has nothing to do with our security, and now our security has been violated, and we have nobody to rely upon when it comes to valid information. We have nobody that we can trust. We can't necessarily trust the government. They blatantly just spit in our face, or the military. And the big government and the military are two different things. So people need to definitely understand that the government may not have all the information that the military has. The military does have secret organizations and things that are classified, and they also have black budgets and things of that nature that I don't know what the communication lines are in between, but it's obvious that an intelligent militia force is going to operate in the format of the left hand doing what the right hand is doing, so on and so forth. Y'all see the 72 on this drone. Keep my 72 everywhere, man. This is phenomenal. But go ahead.
No, but yeah, man, yeah, man. I mean, information is highly compartmentalized in the in the military. I wouldn't say a high clearance, but I did have a clearance. And even with that, some of my counterparts will know things, or they'll have certain information about certain parts of a mission that I may not be a part of, and vice versa, right? So even with military personnel, we don't know everything. You know, you just know it as much as you need to know to complete your job or to complete the mission. That's it. So if they treat us like that, only imagine how they'll treat the public, citizens.
Right, right. Everything is a secrecy, and we're being left into a space of not knowing. And
I would say, it's more of a space of need to know, right? We all want information, man. We all got questions, right? But do we need to know?
do
And
we need to know?
I mean,
Is that what
unfortunately,
you're stating? You're asking if we need to know. I think we all need to know.
well, I mean that's fine, and I feel the same way. But our government and our elected officials, they, a lot of them do not feel the same way. That's not the way we operate. So, you know, which is why we have things we spoke about the other day. We'll probably do this again later about some other crazy conspiracies. But I mean, you got the Freedom of Information Act of 1974, which after a certain amount of time, the government has to disclose certain things, and you could just go back now, look at things from the early thousands to the 90s to the 80s. A lot of things that were conspiracies, or seem kind of crazy, and the government would never do that, or we're not really into that. It's coming out today that we see that. So I wouldn't be surprised if it'll take 3 to 4 or 5 years down the line, or even 10 to 15 years down the line, before we get solid answers about what's going on here. I mean, we still don't have answers for 9/11, right?
Right. Well, I mean, a situation like this, and for you not to tell the people, is definitely highly disrespectful. I think so. I think it's disrespectful. I think the American people are going to feel disrespected, and in
I
that
do.
space, it is a part of the American attitude to definitely respond with some form of violence or aggression once one is disrespected. So, as we just seen with the situation with the Luigi kid and the United Healthcare CEO. There's only so much you're going to be able to do until you hit the tipping point, and people will respond, and they will respond, however is best, however they feel best to do. But as an American, we all understand the space of taking one for the team.
Right. But yeah, in terms of drones, like I said, the drones that I maintained and supported, or the UAVs that I maintained and supported, were nothing like what we're seeing today. Not saying that what we're seeing today is much more complex, but I would say it's more compelling because we've never seen something like this flying over our country before.
Right. So it is a possibility that we are at this level of technology, and there could be private companies that are operating these drones, and due to we haven't gotten any reasoning on why, but if we were to apply logic from things that are being stated with the government, and also a little rumor, we're utilizing some rumor information here that they could be looking for some type of nuclear reactor, nuclear warhead, or things of that nature. That is a possibility. That's what I personally think may be the reasoning on why they're not giving us a direct answer. So what do you think?
I think that makes a lot of sense. Like I said, the government will not let us know about an ongoing operation, especially while it's going on. I think the last time that happened was with Geraldo Herrera, or whatever his name was. Do you remember that back in the day?
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, they're here, they're here on the map. So I mean, I don't think we're going to see that anymore. But I think in time we will find out what's going on. Um, it's just a big win.
Right, right. It's just about when. It would take a lot of finances in order to develop the amount of drones that are being witnessed over America, and that's just what the space is. We don't necessarily know what to do directly with this. Like I stated, I don't doubt the American people. I do believe somebody's gonna take matter into their own hands, as we have before, and but not only this, what do you think about the orbs that are being mentioned? I've ran into information stating that they're really called plasmoids.
Osmosis, yeah.
Yeah. So what do you think about that?
Look, there's a lot of meteorological phenomena that happens in the sky, right? All the time. You know, you got like the northern lights. You got really, I've seen some really weird stuff with lightning in Afghanistan. You know, right before snow, right before rain, a big rainstorm, I guess you'll call it. You know, so I've seen things in the sky that didn't look like what I've seen here. You know, say it in Brooklyn or Vegas or Jersey or something like that. I've never seen, but with the plasmoids, I did hear that there's some research centers out there that's actually creating these things and pumping them into the sky, you know, and openly conducting tests on them. But these, I don't think these orbs are zipping around the sky, you know, a billion miles per hour. Though. That's the thing, right? These orbs aren't circling military aircraft. Do you remember last year, or maybe about 2 years ago, the Navy let out some video. They had a couple of F-18s tailing a UFO, and it was like in infrared. We couldn't really see it, but it was shit kind of like an elongated diamond. You remember
Mm-hmm.
that? You could probably pull it up right now. You know, so I don't think that was an orb, right? So
It was
they're
a
definitely,
diamond drone. Let me put that in.
yeah. I wouldn't even call it a drone. I wouldn't even put that. Just type in United States Navy drone encounter.
United States drone encounter.
Yeah, put Navy up there just so make sure it gives us the
Oh, Navy.
yeah, Navy hit all.
Okay.
Yeah, those are
This one right
pictures. Go to
here.
no. Go to all
Oh, all.
at the top. Yeah,
Okay.
there should be a video somewhere.
In
Uh,
2023, the Navy destroyer Carnea shot down a Yemen-based drone in the Red Sea.
no, not that, not that. Actually, no, I'm sorry. Put UFO encounter.
Okay.
All right,
In
so
2019, the USS Russell captured video of a triangular object in the sky.
nope, not that one. Scroll down. This is from a couple of years ago. Here, I'll
2004,
shoot you the.
2014, 15.
No, man, it was like 20, maybe 2022, 2023.
Okay, let me see here. In April 2023, the Pentagon released a video of an unidentified aerial phenomenon captured by a MQ-9 drone in the Middle East. Exactly what we were talking about. The
Yep,
MQ-9
here.
drone. So this is in April of 2023. They can capture video. They released video. So why can't they release video now? You see, that's the question. The Pentagon's All Domain Anomaly Resolution Office, the AARO director, Sean Kirkpatrick, described the object as a small metallic orb. However, he said that the lack of data prevented a full identification. Now, what's funny about this whole orb thing is that they do move as if they have some form of intelligence. Okay?
Oh
Let
yeah,
me
yeah,
see.
yeah. That's why I don't think the plasmoids really define, you know, a lot of the things we're seeing, right? Unless plasmoids move that way. I'm not sure. I'm not an expert on plasmoids.
Right. You know, I don't know what they are, light orbs or whatever. We don't know what's going on and we don't know what's coming, but it's coming out of the nowhere.
Here you go.
Um,
Can you see this video I just shared with you?
Let me
I'll
see
share.
here.
I'll share it on the
Where'd you share it
private.
to? Did you share?
Uh,
Did you send it to my email?
yeah, I'll tell you what. I'm gonna put it on the stream. I'll put it right into the stream if I can find it. Oh yeah, I can email it to you.
Yeah, just email me the link. I can open it up.
Yeah, this is just the
Oh my
Wikipedia,
goodness.
but they actually have the videos and the information there. And this was about 4 years ago, 3 to 4 years ago.
You sent me the link?
Yes, sir.
Okay, you sent it to the guy 720 at Gmail?
I did.
Okay. Let's see here.
I'll
Okay,
send
there
it
it
twice
is.
just to make sure.
Let's see what we're looking at here. Okay. So yeah, these videos are here on the side.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, I've seen some of those. Let me see what we're talking about here. This is the one from January 2015.
Yep.
Yeah, it's moving too fast.
Can't even track it. So, of course,
So
the
there it
military and the
is.
government, yeah, of course, the military and the government, they know about these things, right?
Right, and they
So,
can capture it on video, and that's very clear. So they're blatantly lying to us. We don't know what's coming. The majority of people right now are definitely not in a position to do any type of defense or are in any position of preparation for what may come in the future. If you know anybody who is a doomsday prepper is what they used to call them, right? Then I guess get on the phone with them and make sure that you got a spot with them. Besides that, like I told people a million times over, get off the East Coast. But, people don't listen and they're stuck in whatever position that they're stuck in due to finances or whatever. I mean, I need to know. Do we go to work on Monday? Are we paying bills still? Do we have to pay the rent? Like, what the fuck is going on here? You know? So, we definitely don't want the economy to collapse or anything like that, but it looks like that is the potentiality of what could occur here. There's a lot of different potentials that can occur here. It's a very odd situation. Nobody's ever faced this before. I saw a guy driving down a Dallas highway in an F-150 truck, and he had a machine gun mounted on the back. Like, we're over here playing Twisted Metal or something. So, you got to be in preparation for whatever may occur, and I don't know. Do you have any advice on what, I mean, we all got to sit back and wait and watch. You know what I'm saying? It's really ugly. What do you have some advice for the people on not going into panic mode?
I mean, don't go into panic mode. That's not going to change anything. I would say always be prepared. Don't wait for something to happen like COVID-19 when we all ran and got toilet tissue. But be prepared. Have at least a couple of weeks worth of food, saved up. If you live in a state where you could own weapons, I mean, I would say that's definitely something that you should definitely do. Not really because of what's going on now, just because of what could come. We're going into a time of uncertainty with, the new administration coming in and all of the other woes that's going to come with that, right? Economy's getting bad. We have a bunch of viruses that's supposed to be popping up, in 2025. So I mean, we don't know, but we did have a test run a few years ago, right? So just be prepared. At the end of the day, if if stuff starts going down, I mean, honestly, there's not a lot people could do, right? So you just got to do what you can.
Right,
Protect your
and
family.
I ran into information. It's funny you said that about the diseases and the viruses. I ran into information of new forms of parasites that have been found
Oh yeah.
in the Virginia area and whatnot that are not indigenous to America. There's supposedly an Indian parasite that will burrow into your skin and will clip the vein in between, these two positions. Some Arietto vein. I don't even know how it's enunciated, but there's a specific vein in your neck that the parasite will come into your body and actually clip and replace, so it can feed off the nutrients off of your blood. Supposedly, I don't know. It's a crazy situation. There's also talks of the volcano in Yellowstone blowing, and the
Hmm.
Ring of Fire volcanoes are acting up. And it's very peculiar that 4 years ago, with the whole COVID situation, um, we all got, told to stay into our houses, and there you couldn't hear a penny drop outside, right? And the streets were empty. But here it is, we have a possible alien aerial threat, and everybody's just telling us, and the government is telling us, don't worry about it. But then again, we were getting fired from our jobs if we didn't have a vaccination. So it's not making sense. Please make it make sense. Don't treat us like a retard unless you're a retard too. And that's sometimes what you got to really think of. You got to really sit back and look at it. Your judges and your local police and, even the military, they're drinking Coca-Cola and eating McDonald's too, So their perception of things may not be there all the way, and they're definitely not in a position to be relied upon with what they're saying and what their average day intake is. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And I would say, also like be careful with these press conferences that, we're seeing a lot of the times. Right now we're in a state of uncertainty. Like we don't have the answers, right? Our local government, they don't have the answers, at least in New Jersey, their local government, I would say, right?
Right.
And we just have to wait for all that red tape and wait for these different agencies to, actually work with each other, disseminate the data, analyze the data before they could come out and tell us anything, right? So just give it time. The truth's always going to come out. Might be 25 years from now, but we'll find out. We'll find out eventually.
See, look, on July 20th, 1952, the most publicized sightings of a series of identified flying objects took place in Washington, D.C. Okay? This is on July 20th, which is a 7/20, 1952. Now, 1952 plus 72 is 2024. Okay? And what's really interesting about this, see, look, jets chase DC sky ghost. Okay? This is on this was reported on July 29th, but the event occurred on July 20th. And what's really interesting here is Jersey's senator is Cory Booker. You know what I'm saying? So what the fuck is all of the what is all the synchronicities with that? That is very interesting. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, due to the plasmoids, which could be light orbs, a lot of people are calling the plasmoids fallen angels. I don't know. We don't know what we're looking at.
Hey, man.
Just, call now. I'm selling Duke Nukem guns for everybody. If you, I have the Duke Nukem gun. You understand? And that's what we
BFG.
gonna need out here for aliens and ugly bitches. You dig what I'm saying? Obese motherfuckers need to get hit with that Duke Nukem. You understand? So yeah, that's what's going on, man. You got anything else you want to say about this whole Twilight Zone type shit we got cracking here? You know?
No, man. I mean, like I said, it's real fun to kind of just, just shoot the shit about it and throw ideas back and forth, man. But it is kind of scary at the end of the day. Like I'm flying into New York, what, Saturday? No, Friday night.
Right, and they haven't
Yeah,
canceled
yeah,
any flights yet. That's another
yeah,
thing that's
yeah.
real peculiar. If we have all of these drones nationwide, the entire flight industry should be shut down, right or wrong.
Right, but which could mean that they know what it is, and it's not a threat to air transportation right now. Probably, I mean, even though they did shut some down in Jersey, was it Jersey or New York? I think it was New York, right?
Yeah, New
It was today.
York.
It was like
Right,
today,
and
right?
that's New York. That's not even New Jersey, the airport
Yeah.
in New Jersey. You know what I'm saying? But keep going.
I mean, we'll see, man. I'm kind of excited to hit the East Coast and go check this out myself. Actually, I got an Android, not an iPhone, so I promise you, I will get clear pictures.
Oh, you get some clear pictures. So you
Yeah,
say the Android is superior to the iPhone when it comes to picture taking.
yeah, man. Just with the Galaxy devices, at least, um, in terms of getting those type of clear pictures from that distance, right? It'll be a little bit easier with those phones. But yeah, man, this is crazy. I'm searching right now. I'm looking through stuff now, and I'm seeing new stuff. It's just like this don't make any sense either.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. We don't know what we're looking at. There's definitely military drones. We don't know the level of the technology our government is in. We haven't seen where these drones are coming from, and we don't see where they're going. We don't know what their true intent is. At the end of the day, if they're not a threat, they are definitely a threat in the areas of a possibility of a collapse in the middle of the air and could strike the highway or something of that nature, or some kids at the playground. And it's also a threat in the area of observation and spying, which also could be a capability. We don't know the true capabilities of these drones, and the American people need to know. Um, it's once again, just like COVID, we're put into a very tough position where we don't know what's coming next, and we would like to know, to prepare ourselves in any way, but maybe they want us to be extremely defenseless. And in order for you to be in a space of, being defenseless, that means, we're not going to let you know what the probabilities are, So it's definitely an ugly space, and the relationship in between our government and the people is deteriorating. Hopefully it's definitely going to change our social. One thing about that social is I know women ain't finna be running around here talking about they hate men now. They gonna be looking for they gonna be looking to get into somebody's camp. You understand me?
Yeah, it's
So
going to be the alien man. They're going to leave us alone and go with the alien man.
oh, they gonna leave us and go with the alien. Okay, yeah, right. Not if he has a 2-incher, I'll tell you that shit. They'll leave that nigga too.
Ain't nobody safe.
Yeah.
In the
Ain't nobody
universe.
safe in the motherfucker. You understand? So yeah. I hope we all learned something here today. I don't want to take too much of Mr. Gray's time. Y'all go ahead and say thank you, Mr. Gray, for all the information that he's provided to us from his personal experiences in seeing these drones and being involved in the military. Thank you for serving our country, and all the things that you've done. But yeah, this is just it's very disheartening where we're at right now. Don't go out here trying to blame soldiers. Don't go out here trying to blow up a VA hospital. Don't be doing no stupid shit. Yeah, because the American people, they don't know. Sometimes when you don't know what to swing at, you have to create or invent something in your mind to swing at. You know what I'm saying? And that's not the mentality that we need to use in a situation like this. This is very fragile, and we're all in a very fragile position. And the important thing here, though, is that those who aren't aware about this, you need to go ahead and dissociate a little bit, because this has been going on for over the span of a month. So it's not new. It's been brought to the national attention through TikTok and other apps during the course of the past week, 2 weeks, since about December 11th, somewhere around there, or December 4th, somewhere around there is when it's been brought to the national intelligence. So,
I have a
it's
question
ugly.
for you.
Go ahead.
Have you heard about there's a guy named Cliff High?
Uh-huh.
Have you heard about Cliff High? He actually predicted this drone invasion. I believe it was back in 2019.
Right, I saw that
And
video. I'm glad you
yeah,
brought that up before we
yeah.
closed out. I'm glad you brought that up. I
Well, he
find that
didn't.
type of stuff a spit in the face. Go ahead, say what you about to say.
I was gonna say I just wanted to correct that. He didn't predict it. I think he was developing some generative AI that could taking a lot of data from the internet, find keywords, and kind of use that to compile a prediction. And in 2019, he said this will happen about 39 days after Trump does a Joe Rogan interview while he's trying to, win his second term.
Right, and
And
I mean, I know there's a lot of people out here right now that's scanning all of the Simpsons to see where they can find this shit at in the Simpson cartoon, and I really find those type of direct so-called prophetic notions or premonitions to be a spit in the face. It's disrespectful. I don't think you just directly prophesy that there's going to be alien wars in the sky 30
Hmm.
days after a Joe Rogan interview. It doesn't really work like that. When we understand religions, prophecy is spoken in sort of a vague language to allow a multitude of different elements to create said prophecy. And we've seen this over the years through our Simpsons cartoons and things of that nature, where these individuals blatantly know the future, and they know the future by direct. It's either they're drawing the future on their cartoon and then creating it, like the whole
Hmm.
scene of Trump coming down the stairs at the mall, and that was directly in a cartoon. That type of shit should have us extremely upset. I feel like I'm being played with, with that type of, like, what do you know? And how are you just going to tell me what I'm going to see or what I'm going to be involved in years ahead? I find that extremely, disrespectful. And where are you getting this information from? You know, yeah, I don't like it at all. What do you have to say about it?
Yeah, man, it's weird. I don't know. I do think society kind of all societies kind of follow a similar like similar patterns, right? And I think these guys they know how to read that and manipulate things to make things happen, right? Like they're not going to do anything and not let us know first, right? We've been hearing about aliens since what the 40s, maybe the 40s to 50s, the old black
Right,
and white
right, right,
movies
right.
and things like
The
that, and then
alien movies and whatnot. Go ahead.
right, and it was the same thing. You got the spaceships flying around abducting people, or whatever. Got beams shooting out of it, and now today,
Yeah,
many many decades
you had the
later,
Bat Boy on
yeah,
the Inquirer magazine.
yeah. But now today we're seeing like a lot of that stuff, right? We used to watch the Jetsons about, I mean, we say flying cars, but that stuff is real now. You know what I'm saying? Like there's a lot
Yeah,
of things that we saw, Star Trek with the cell phones, the little communicator. Now everybody got
right,
a cell phone today. So it's like I think they have an idea of what's going to happen and they kind of just, test the waters. Put it out there, let
right.
us know, you know.
Yeah, let us know. We could take information. You know what I'm saying? We could, this is basically it's the cause of a divorce between the human populace and the government. And it's really our fault as American citizens. We aren't heavily involved into the development of drones or into technology in the areas in which we need to be. This is very serious that we need to take it, and it's very
Oh, of course.
clear that over the past 10, 20 years they've been trying to dumb us down and to make us extreme fools through the media and through the movies. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say you're driving by some of the pictures of what I call Jetson cars. I mean, yeah, they're using propellers, but we have flying cars now today, 2025. You know,
Right, and
how
that
so
hasn't been
big?
released to the government. Oh, here, I think this is one right here.
Yeah, they're all around, man. I went to a
Oh,
car
this.
show maybe about 8 years ago and saw one, from one of these companies,
Uh,
and they look way different from this. These are pretty much just like small helicopters. I mean,
right, but I'm just
actual.
letting them know that's an AI picture. That's not a real picture right
Oh
there.
yeah,
So go
yeah,
ahead.
yeah, man. So like, there's a lot of there's a lot of cool stuff people are doing with drones, man. But I think the drone term is kind of a blanket term right now, right?
Hmm.
I think we need new terminology for this technology and these things that we see. I mean, you have drones that look like this with a bunch of propellers, then you have other drones with fixed wings. Another drone that's floating without any control surfaces, right? These things aren't all the same. They may be unmanned, but in my heart of hearts, I don't look at all of these things as the same. This is not the same as the MQ-1 Reaper, right? Or MQ-9 Reaper, or MQ-1 Predator, or RQ-170. These aren't the same, but we call
Right.
all of these drones.
So from the size of the videos and the pictures that you have seen about these drones over Jersey, do you think they're manned?
I don't think they're manned at all. The From the earlier videos I've seen with the drones, just going super fast across the sky and changing directions and things like that. Nah, man, the average human would be crushed to death.
Oh, it would crush it.
It
Right,
will
right.
crush
The
them. Yeah,
physics of the situation would definitely crush a human. Okay.
yeah. Our current military aircraft, which is why pilots are so highly revered, is the stress that their bodies go through. Pulling high G's. A lot of these guys lose a couple of inches in height. Over time, they end up with a lot of issues because they have to pull these high G's and take that on their body. Those G forces. So if these little drones are moving like that, if it's a person in it, yeah, he'll be spaghettified, man. He won't survive.
Right,
So these things have to be unmanned.
right, right, right. Yeah, because well, it could be manned, a manned craft, but it isn't the definition of a height of man that we see. A being from another dimension, they could
See,
only maybe grow to 3 feet, or 2 feet.
look, man, look, you know me, man. I love conspiracy theories is fun. Alien stuff is fun. I love it, right? And I highly, highly, highly believe that some of this stuff we're seeing could be transdimensional contact. Higher dimensional or extra dimensional shapes
Uh huh.
manifested in the third dimension. You won't be able to see a fourth dimensional object in the third dimension. You might see pieces of it, pushing through, and that might look like an orb. That might look like a cigar shape just floating in the sky. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, it's wild, man. It's wild. I don't want to sound too crazy on my first internet, expedition, but yeah,
No, you're good.
it's,
You're good. You're good. You're anonymous. You are Mr.
yeah.
Gray. You know
I
what I'm
have no
saying?
media training. You know what I'm saying? I barely
No
even speak in
media
real life, so
training. Neither do I, brother.
I'm a recluse.
Yeah, we need a PR team for sure. You dig what I'm
Yes,
saying?
sir.
But yeah, no, I mean, what is crazy? How do we define sounding crazy nowadays when we are looking at a possibility? Well, let me ask you that. What is your percentage on the possibility of this being alien technology, and we may be due for a visit from the intergalactic or interdimensional beings?
I say about 25-30%.
Okay, 25 30. Remember, everybody, I told y'all everything is 70-30, 70-30. So, yeah, and that makes sense. And the reason why that makes sense is because we don't know what the true capabilities of our government or other governments across the world are really at. And I think that is, a shame. I think that's disappointing. And the reason being is because I clearly understand that science is important, and we all live our daily lives based off of the conclusions of science, and it has made our lives better. So therefore, science, and because there is millions of different sciences, there is a mandate that everybody is interested into and inculcates themselves into some form of science. Whether that be studying bubbles in water, whether that be studying words and linguistics, whether that be studying drones. There's all different types of sciences out here, and the American populace is definitely choosing to, sit on their ass and watch some Netflix and eat the fucking number four from Wendy's. And this shit has got to stop, because now there's been a threat imposed upon us, and we can't do anything about it. And there are other people in America who can do something and defend themselves, such as this individual right here who's experimenting with some form of manned drone. And guess what? They're not going to include those who can't assist in any area, which would be me or you, or we're not educated in these fields. So, and there's nothing that we can really, contribute to the development and advancement of them, and also the protection of our own selves. You see? So we need to get involved. If there's anything that the American people do, we definitely need to get far more serious,
Yeah, man. But I mean, this is pretty crazy. But we'll see. I think, like I said, man, give it to about Tuesday. I really believe in my heart of hearts that we'll get some definitive information by like Tuesday. Um, at least a little bit more so we can know what we're working with. I
Right.
don't think these things are aliens. I really hope they're not from like a adversary or something like that. Because that'd be crazy. Because if they could fly those here now, who knows what they could do later, right? And so that's the only thing I'm really worried about.
Right. If it is some form of adversary, you best believe there's some type of inside trading or inside stuff going on for them to publicly come to the front lines and just tell us that it's something that we don't need to be worried about. They have to be in cahoots. And they have to be in some form of agreement or assistance with whatever adversary is there. We're playing a lot of crazy games, because even if it doesn't matter what military base you go to in America, you're going to find some foreign exchange student shit going on, and you will see soldiers from other militaries across the planet at our military bases.
Hmm. Very common.
What is that about?
Well, we have a lot of partner nations that we're allies with. A lot
Right.
of them use some of the same aircraft, some of the same vehicles, some of the same weapons, some of the same strategies. So, we train together, right? Like when I was in our biggest, I wouldn't say our biggest ally, but one of the parent nations or one of the sister nations, as we call them, that we work with, were the Brits. And they had all the same stuff we had. They had drones, we had drones. We had certain types of things going on. They had certain type of things going on. So, we have to be on the same page with our partner nations. So we share a lot of technology, a lot of military technology back and forth, right? So that's normal. That's every day.
All right.
E-
All right.
Even
All
here on
right.
Nellis, you have red flag. You get countries from all over or nations from all over the world that participates in that exercise, right? It's like a blue versus red, air to air combat drill. So that's nothing out of the ordinary.
Right. Right. Well, there it is. There you have it, folks. Hopefully, we'll have Mr. Gray back on once we get some more information flooded into society coming from our government, and we can do a lot more observation. I mean, we could do a lot more guesstimation, because that's all we're really doing about what could be occurring or what could be coming our way as American citizens. Yeah, so I definitely thank you for being on, Mr. Gray. If there's anything you want to tell the people, go ahead and let them know now.
Let's keep your eyes open. If you guys get some good pictures, share with us, please.
Yeah, so if there's any data that you would like to share, you can go ahead and send it to my email, theguide720@gmail.com. Don't forget to donate, okay, to the Money Religion Squadron. You know, don't forget to be here tomorrow at 2 o'clock as well. Um, And don't forget to purchase the books Kicked Out of Heaven, The Black Man's Bible, The Real Nigga Etiquette, The Ethereal Law, going for $100 right now. And you can purchase at theblackmansbible.com. You get the Encyclopedia on the Alchemy of Women for free. It's very ironic on how I wrote the Kicked Out of Heaven and I recomposed the plague, and then the COVID hit. And then I'm out here talking about the uterus is an alien, and then before you know it, there's a possibility of aliens flying it in our own airspace, okay, in less than a year. So, that's kind of weird, you know. I will say that is kind of weird. Hopefully I'm not altering all of existence through some books I done wrote, you know what I'm saying?
Hey, man.
Yeah, so yeah. Um, but yeah, like I was stating, donate, go to the millenniumdvds.com, buy the books. Hopefully we'll hear from Mr. Gray again. I definitely thank you for stopping by and doing this show at the last minute with me here. And we going to keep it pumping. All right?
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me. Sorry if I suck this time. It's my first time.
Nah, you good, you good, bro. We'll run it again. It's not a problem. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, thank you, and I am out of this. The guys 720, the Money Religion. Y'all be here tomorrow at 2 o'clock on Monday.
Peace.
Peace.
spaceship. First you need a facelift, get off your day shift. Learn all the basics, turn all the pages, become courageous. Eyes start blazing and your heart start racing. Ray-Ban man, trench coat Mason. Don't believe no faces, they all Mr. Smith. Nigga, roll your own blunt, they don't need to take a hit. Don't mix with entanglements, it's all bullshit. Got the blue whip, the soft bitch, the cow gets right blue whip. Can't pull this off, 47 collision can talk. Whatever the laws above, cause the boss. Not a goddamn thing, get money and bling. To the back girl sings up green mask. Nigga wearing black pearl ring clock, stack my dream. Time travel other worlds, the dimension between. Comprehension is seen, apprehension indeed. The desire to bleed, infection disease. Now you tell a B, gotta take a vaccine when your soul ain't clean. In an ocean full of bodies, I'm a submarine. Futuristic thug with a submachine. Love plug with fiends, niggas love mugging mean, and then we smile. Prehistoric alien, yes, the X-File. The Matrix. Where does the money grow, nigga? I don't know. The original criminal, that's too little road. Can't handle the physical, so we all spiritual. Looking for miracles, that's caveman. What does the mirror show? The terror unfolds, I let it go, get it go. When the night grows cold, the 11th commandment is thou shalt owe. I'm about that dope, ain't no golden road. For Alice's full of malice, is wanting to balance. While I'm sipping on the chalice, that's full of bad habits. Abracadabra, my nigga, I'm about that magic. The emerald tablet, in the general madness. Elevating the status, separate from the banks and wake up to the baddest. It's all bureaucratic, and you thought solid niggas was gone to the casket. The Matrix. The Matrix. Life war with two samurai swords. An oracle for the Lord, and I've been here before. That's there and back. When laws attract, I never spare attack. Hair trigger compact, any nigga contact. Nigga, how about that? Suffocating the whack, justifying the stacks. Super with the Mac, and I walk with the team, steady stuck in the game. All hard off the plane, it's the Phoenix ash. We don't see this putting your ass 1,000 miles per hour, and I still won't crash. When the dragon lands, you gon' feel that wrath. Can't live in the past, so I face an unknown while I sit on chrome. No soul, exoskeleton, skull and bones. Goes dad, grab the bag, that's right to the phone. Exploding